Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Wicked Tales, the series where we talk about all the dark, twisted, and wicked tales in the world. I'm your host, Sarah. Today's wicked tale is unusual to say the least. But before we dive into this story, I just want to ask, is anyone else kind of intrigued and interested in this whole CEO United Healthcare assassination? Is anyone else kind of wondering what his motive is and why he did what he did? I'm super intrigued. I really want to know. I have so many different possible theories that either he has a loved one and they were denied coverage or denied health insurance or denied a surgery that would save their life and he got mad and that's why he did it. And then there's also stories of the CEO being a whistleblower and maybe it was a hired hit. Who knows? I'm really excited I'm not excited. That sounded really bad. I am very intrigued to know what the motive was, because it's kind of wild for a CEO of a healthcare company to be murdered like that. So I am very intrigued to find out what the story is, but I had to say something before we start this tale. So if you are with me and are intrigued and interested and kind of wondering why he did what he did, leave a message on my social media or reach out to me. I would love to hear your theories. Dive on in to the chilling events that unfolded in February 2022. Our wicked tale starts in Green Bay, Wisconsin, home of one of the most famed football franchises in the NFL, the Green Bay Packers. And if you're a Packers fan, woo, go you. I'm not a Packers fan, but yeah, football. Yay. Green Bay is a bigger city with a small town feel. A lot of residents say that everyone knows everyone, which is pretty common in a small town, mainly if you live in one like I do. So, everyone knows everyone. On February 23rd, 2022, Green Bay police received a call at 3:25 a.m. from a home in the 800 block of Stony Brook Lane. The caller was the boyfriend of Tara Packnick, and you won't believe what his girlfriend just found in the basement.
County Public Safety, how may I help you?
Yes, I'd like an officer at 829 Stony Brook. Girlfriend just woke me up and swears that she found her severed head of her son in the basement.
Okay, can you repeat the address, sir?
829 Stony Brook.
Okay, S-T-O-N-E-Y?
Is it EY, right? Yes. No E. Just L-Y.
Is that a house, apartment, or duplex?
It's a house.
What's your phone number?
My number is 327-3748. My name's Steve.
327-3748?
Yes.
What's your last name, Steve?
Hendricks.
Okay, tell me what's happening there again?
I have no clue what's happening. My girl swears that she's found her severed head of her son in the basement.
Did you go down there?
In a bucket. I went down. I can't tell what the fuck it is. Part of my language. I'm kind of a little freaked out.
Okay, did she just wake up and say that?
Yeah.
And whose head is it?
She's claiming it's her son.
How old is her son?
24, 25.
Has he been missing, or?
No, yeah, he was here yesterday with some chick, and then now all of a sudden nobody's here. And she came up to use the restroom a couple times, and she keeps calling and calling, and now she's saying that she hears the phone down there too.
Okay, is she with you right now?
Yes, she's upstairs. She's a little freaked out, and I don't know what to do.
Okay, all right, get in line. And you said you went down there, correct?
Yeah, and I lifted the toe, but I can't see very well, and I can't tell what the hell it is.
So there's something in the bucket.
There's something in the goddamn bucket there.
Okay.
If she won't look again, I Takanichich.
N-I-C-H. What's her first name?
Tara. Tara, T-A-R-A.
What's her middle initial, date of birth?
What's your middle initial? L?
Hello?
Hello? Yeah.
I'm still here.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, yep.
Okay. What's her date of birth?
What's your date of birth? 5/14/74.
All right. Can I talk to her?
Yes, you can.
Hello?
Hi, Tara. So can you tell me what's going on?
Are you positive my son's head is in a bucket, right on the bucket in my basement?
What makes you think that?
Because I looked in the bucket,
What did you see?
exactly what I told you.
Okay. Where's the rest of the body at?
No idea.
When's the last time you saw your son?
Well, I guess today is Wednesday, so I picked him up from his dad's on Monday. And because he doesn't normally stay here, he was going to stay here for a few days. He got it, left the laundry. He was here a couple hours, then he left with Taylor. And they had some big Taylor,
Who's that?
girl, Taylor Coronado.
You know how to spell her last name?
Coronado. No, not exactly. But it's the common spelling from around here.
All right. That is
He went to middle school and high school with her.
Okay.
I don't know if he does it with me.
When's the last time you saw him?
Well, he left with her. They both came back. I believe they both came back while we were sleeping Monday night. And I assume they slept all day yesterday, so I haven't seen him since Monday night physically. I thought they were sleeping all day. I was gone for a little while yesterday, Tuesday, and he's 25 and I'm on a basement.
All right.
What are you doing? You know what I mean?
Well, we've got help.
And then I heard my door and her minivan start. And I went downstairs and I went to the bathroom. The lights were out in the basement. So I went and turned them off and I looked around and I was there. So then when I turned around to come back upstairs, there was a 5-gallon bucket with a towel over it. And I'm like, oh great, that's why they're out here all day yesterday. They were pissing in a bucket. And I looked and that is not what was in that bucket.
What is your son's name?
Shad Thyrion.
T-H-A-D.
S-H-A-D.
How do you spell his last name?
T-H-Y-R-I-O-N.
What's his date of birth?
9797.
Is there blood down there?
No.
Okay. All right, ma'am. I have officers that are headed over to your house right now, okay?
Head over.
Okay, I'll go down there.
I guess just stay away from it. Just stay away.
From that area, but we're on the second level, so we're going to go down to the kitchen and not to the basement.
Okay,
We
yeah.
can answer the door and stuff.
Okay, all right, ma'am.
My 16-year-old daughter is sleeping.
Excuse me?
My 16-year-old daughter is here sleeping.
Okay.
They do not make a lot of noise. I don't know.
Okay, just let them know that. I'm sure they won't try, okay?
My heart, the jump out of my head is being so.
And, I mean, you're sure it couldn't be like a fake head or something?
I'm not touching it. I'm not looking at it again.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Just go ahead and wait for the officers, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, you heard that correctly. Tara and her boyfriend just called to report she had just found her 24-year-old son, Shad Thyrion's severed head in a bucket in the basement of her home. Now arrested, she was anything but shy about describing what happened. For now, let's take a step back and get to know Taylor Schabusiness and Shad Thyrion. Shad Thyrion was 24 years old at the time, born September 7th, 1997 in Green Bay, Wisconsin. He had 3 siblings and attended the Bayport High School before going to work with his father and grandfather at the family business. Shad was very artistic and enjoyed woodworking. Shad also enjoyed camping, games, and spending time with his family. He was described as being kind, compassionate, and was always someone who would think of others before himself. Taylor Coronado was born to Marla and Arturo Coronado in Chicago on November 23, 1997. The family mainly stayed in Chicago until Taylor was in the 4th grade, and then they decided to move to Wisconsin. It is said that Taylor's upbringing wasn't easy nor all that great, but that does not excuse her for what she did. Taylor states that she first recalled receiving mental health treatment when she was in the 7th grade to address an attention disorder, concentration, and behavioral problems that resulted in school. At the time, she was medicated to address symptoms that stemmed from ADD or ADHD. Taylor was later prescribed a mood stabilizer, an antidepressant, as well as an antipsychotic. In 2009, Taylor's mother passed away from cirrhosis of the liver related to alcoholism. This was said to mentally destroy Taylor. This is around the time Taylor began to show signs of mental behavior problems. After her mother's passing, her father did remarry. However, years later, the marriage fell apart after he was accused of sexually assaulting a minor in his care. The girl was just 13 at the time. In high school, Taylor and Shad were classmates at Bayport High School until senior year when Taylor was expelled for fighting. She moved to Texas to complete her senior year while living with her grandparents. When Taylor moved back to Wisconsin, she started a romantic relationship with a gentleman named Warren Chabot in 2017. The couple does have a son together, but due to the parents' criminal record, he does live with grandparents in Texas. Taylor married Warren Chabot, who later changed his name to Warren Schabusiness on February 14th, 2020, while he was in prison. Warren is currently serving time for federal drug charges. He was caught with 46 grams of methamphetamine, and his current release date is July 25th, 2024, which through this whole time, he has reportedly stood by his wife's side throughout her entire trial and her conviction. In April and May of 2021, Taylor said she was hospitalized after a suicide attempt, at which point she was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, or also known as PTSD, as well as bipolar disorder, adding to her past diagnoses of severe depression, ADD, and ADHD. A criminal complaint filed in June 2020 involving Schabusiness offers a glimpse of bizarre behavior and her excessive drug use. Schabusiness was charged with battery on a law enforcement officer and resisting arrest after allegedly behaving oddly after she was found walking in the middle of the street. Police had been called to the area for a woman seemingly under the influence of narcotics who was knocking on doors. When officers arrived and asked her what she was doing, she stated she was not sure and was on a different planet right now. Schabusiness allegedly told officers she had just shot up and showed them track marks on her arm. During this incident, Schabusiness allegedly kicked out officers who tried to prevent her from walking into oncoming traffic. 2 months later, she didn't pull over when an officer attempted to do a traffic stop. She sped through a red light and almost hit a bicyclist. She finally stopped in a parking lot where she was grabbed by police. Her vehicle was searched and both meth and an injection kit were found. This time, she received charges of knowingly fleeing or eluding an officer, bail jumping for not adhering to probation guidelines, possession of drug paraphernalia, and obstructing an officer. She again pled no contest and received 2 years probation and 3 months in jail. In January of 2022, the jail time was reduced to house arrest shortly after. Now, the days leading up to what happened to Shad is kind of unclear, but this is kind of what Taylor told authorities when she was arrested. So, February 21st, 2022, at around 9:30 p.m., Shad was picked up from the home of his mother by Taylor, who the victim had known since middle school and had an on-again, off-again sexual relationship with. The couple was joined by another friend and went to an apartment on Eastman Avenue and smoked some of the devil's lettuce, cabbage, whatever you want to call it. They also smoked methamphetamine and injected trazodone. Trazodone is an antidepressant. It is used to help improve one's mood, appetite, and energy levels, as well as decreasing anxiety and insomnia in relation to depression. The couple eventually returned to Shad's mother's home, where they spent the next day while Tara was out. Now, it's not said what they were doing within this time, but I'm guessing they were doing different drugs. They were probably having sexual intercourse because they were at the time of Shad's death. So I'm guessing, that's kind of what they were doing in between that day, but Taylor never really explains what they were doing that day. Taylor says that on the day that Shad was killed, they began engaging in sexual intercourse, and in the past they had kind of dabbled, I guess you could say, in erotic asphyxiation. So they decided to do it again during this sexual intercourse, but instead of using, I guess what they normally use was just their hands, Taylor grabbed a metal chain. According to Schabusiness, Shad was face down in bed before she said that she, quote unquote, went crazy and repeatedly choked him. Despite the fact that he was coughing up blood and turning purple, Taylor did not stop. After Shad had already passed, Taylor, in her interrogation video, states that she proceeded to perform sexual acts and use sex toys on the body for several hours afterwards. So not only is she a killer, but she's also a necrophiliac at this point. She then grabbed kitchen knives with the intention of dismembering him. And she told authorities that she was going to originally keep all his body parts. But then she supposedly got lazy. Detective Graff said that Schabusiness proceeded to use a bucket, tote bags, and several other items to collect Shad's blood, which she then used to shower with, which is gross. Taylor stated in her interrogation video that a bread knife worked the best. She also removed the organs, including Shad's male parts, and placed them in plastic bags, storage totes, cardboard boxes, and the bucket. Now, Taylor's done all this. She's killed him. She's had sex with his corpse. She's dismembered him. She's done some horrific acts. But Taylor does not leave the house empty-handed. After speaking with Shad's mother, the police were able to locate Taylor despite having removed her GPS tracker from her ankle. Taylor was found at her apartment before the officers even saw her or got a chance to knock on the door. They discovered bloody footprints leading from her minivan to her door. As police followed the bloody footprints to her door, Taylor stepped out onto the porch. Her clothes had several bloodstains, as well as her hands, and her thumb had a severe cut. She also had scratches on her arms, which she claimed were self-inflicted. Inside her minivan, There was a crock pot found with Shad's legs inside. Taylor Schabusiness was charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and third-degree sexual assault on March 1st, 2022. She was held on a $2 million bond in Brown County. Her first appearance in court was via Zoom for her hearing, where she stood with her arms crossed and only showed her face. Now, during this time, she does smirk sometimes when they talk about, what she did, which she does that throughout the entire trial. If you watch the videos, she's seen laughing, smirking. She's just a different type of person. Now, at this hearing, it was ruled that Schabusiness needed to undergo an inpatient evaluation within 15 days after arriving at a mental facility. Quinn Jolly was then appointed as Schabusiness's first attorney, and he entered a not guilty by reason of insanity plea for her. However, a court-appointed physician found her competent to stand trial. Jolly then requested that they get a second opinion about her mental condition, and Judge Welsh stated that he wasn't opposed to having her reevaluated, but it would not be at the taxpayer's expense. So someone else would need to pay for her to be evaluated, so her family or herself. On May 19th, 2022, Judge Wells scheduled a hearing for expert witnesses to argue whether or not Schabusiness was competent to stand trial. After a 4-hour hearing, it was ruled that she was mentally competent to assist in her own case. Then, at the end of August, her attorney, Quinn Jolly, entered a new plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. Changing the plea delayed the trial that was supposed to begin on September 19th, 2022, and it was rescheduled for March 6th, 2023. On February 14th, 2023, another competency hearing took place. During this trial, Schabusiness attacked her lawyer, Quinn Jolly, until a deputy was able to wrestle her to the ground. Immediately following the attack, Jolly requested to be removed from the case. Judge Welsh agreed to Jolly leaving the case, and Schabusiness returned to her next trial date with a new attorney, Christopher Frolin. Frolin filed a motion for Judge Welsh to remove himself from the case because he had been present during Jolly's attack and raised concerns that it would cloud his judgment. Judge Welsh denied the motion, stating that he was able to still be fair and impartial. After this, a motion to change venue was requested and subsequently denied by Judge Welsh. Yet another competency hearing was requested and granted. However, Judge Welsh would not delay the trial any further. A motion was also filed to exclude evidence of Schabusiness's searches of Jeffrey Dahmer walking into court all sexy and Jeffrey Dahmer's butt. Judge Welsh ruled that the evidence could be admitted in court, but not her searches for sadism. Trial began on July 21st, 2023. On Monday, July 24th, there were 11 witnesses for the prosecution that testified. There were members of Shad's family, members of the Green Bay Police Department, personnel from Brown County 911 Dispatch Center, as well as members from the medical examiner's office. The first person to testify was from the dispatch center, and the phone call made to 911 that night was played in court. Steve Hendricks, who made the 911 call, testified as well and said in court, quote, "I woke up from a deep sleep and I'm tripping out. She wakes up crying, telling me she found her son's head in a bucket. Yeah, it's a little disturbing." End quote. The 12-person jury watched the body cam footage of the police searching the basement and also finding Shad's severed head in the bucket underneath a beach towel. Defense attorney urged the jury to keep an open mind and to not jump to conclusions about the defendant's guilt, as they were told the details of the crime committed. The trial was done in 2 phases. The first regarding the charges against Schabusiness. If she was found guilty, the second phase would focus on whether or not she was responsible for the crime or if she was suffering from a mental disease or defect at the time she murdered Shad. Taylor Schabusiness was found guilty on all counts during the first phase of the trial. On day 4, phase 2 began. Her father testified on her behalf, entering the courtroom in his orange jumpsuit and shackles. He told the court that he had sought out help for his daughter more than once because she suffered from hallucinations. He said that he had always worried about her mental health. There were 2 court-appointed psychologists that testified for the state that said that her actions were fueled by drugs, which made her ineligible for the insanity plea under Wisconsin's definition. They stated that her decision to dismember Shad's body and clean the basement crime scene of evidence told them that she knew what she was doing was wrong. Her attorneys argued that the drugs may have intermixed her psychosis, but there was enough evidence that she suffers from a long-standing disorder that affects her actions that date back to childhood. The jury returned a unanimous verdict, finding that she did not have a mental disease or defect at the time of the murder. On September 26, 2023, Taylor Schabusiness, dressed up all fancy in a spit hood, orange jumpsuit, and handcuffs, as she was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. Judge Welsh also added 2 consecutive sentences, adding 18 years to the life sentences for the crimes she committed. As you can tell, drugs obviously played a huge role in what she did, but in my opinion, with her searching Jeffrey Dahmer and from other people saying that she was kind of a Jeffrey Dahmer fangirl, I find it hard to believe that she wasn't fantasizing killing people for a while. I do think that had she gotten the correct mental health, it could have saved Shad, but I also don't know if it would have saved somebody else. Because it obviously seems like she wanted to kill someone. I mean, she knowingly took his body parts. She did a lot of things that obviously pointed to someone that was unwell. But, she's gonna rot in prison now. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. You can find Wicked Tales on any place that you get your podcasts. I am thinking about turning this into a YouTube series, but I haven't really decided on that just yet. I do put out a new Wicked Tale every week, so stay safe out there and join me again next week. See you guys soon.